Welcome to another episode of Scaling Vision podcast. Today I have a very special person with me, Dr. Anand Kate. Please welcome to the podcast, sir.
Hello, thank you.
You are one doctor whom every other person in Nagpur knows, and you are well known within the medical fraternity as well. Why do you think you have so much of fame as of today?
I don't know. First thing is, I have been practicing in Nagpur since last almost 37 years. And have been very active in doctors associations. I was president of IIM Nagpur in 2006. I was also president of API Vidarbha chapter, and also have worked in many other associations like Academy of Medical Sciences, Diabetic Association of India, and CSI.
Right.
So probably through all these, my association with these associations have made me known in the medical fraternity.
I would like to add one more point here. You are, I think, one of the last breed of doctors who rely more on clinical knowledge and diagnosis rather than technology.
Yeah, exactly. I still practice that old school of medicine.
Yeah.
And do not rely very heavily on investigations.
Right. You are one of the last breed of doctors, I guess, from that era.
Yes. We are students of era of Dr. Chaubey, Dr. Dubey, people like them.
Right. So in this regards, how has medicine changed in your 37 years of practice?
Medicine has changed a lot because in our times when we passed MD medicine used to be almost master of all. He was a cardiologist, he was a diabetologist, he was a nephrologist. But as the time progressed, we got so many super specialities coming into practice, and these have almost diverted most of the patients who were being treated by physicians. So if a patient of stroke comes, probably they directly go to a neurologist. A patient of heart attack directly goes to a cardiologist, and so on. So that is the main thing which the practice of physicians have changed. But still, though all those common diseases which are more common than heart attacks and this thing like fever, gastroenteritis, and most of the rheumatology also is being covered by physicians, they still come to a physician, and physician probably still in many cases is the first point of contact as a specialist for the patients.
Yeah. So based on that, why do you think lifestyle diseases are arriving so early nowadays?
There are 2-3 reasons for this. One thing is lifestyle diseases are seen early. They may be coming early before also, previously also, but now probably because of more awareness, health awareness, probably because of more investigations, they are being diagnosed early. And probably another thing is the change of lifestyle. People have changed their lifestyle, eating habits have changed, a lot of processed foods are being consumed, and people don't have time for exercise, children don't have time for playing, studies have changed, a lot of screen time is being utilized by the persons, and that is the main reason probably the lifestyle diseases have come in a big way, and they are being brought up, or they are being diagnosed in a big way.
Speaking of screen times, when some patients come to my OPD, it shocks me that a first standard student starts tuitions and he or she has no time to play outside.
Yes, and nowadays, apart from tuitions, most of the students, 10th class onwards, probably they study on apps. They have all the apps in their phones and laptops, and they don't read books, they only study on apps.
So do you think we have come from an era of treating acute illness to managing lifelong diseases?
Yes. Managing lifestyle diseases is also a very important thing. Of course, acute illnesses will be there. They will always be there, and you have to take care of them. But the lifestyle illnesses, lifestyle diseases, they have become very important nowadays, and best thing for them is, rather than treating them, it is better to prevent all those lifestyle diseases.
Why do patients underestimate preventive care and checkups?
people underestimate preventive care because they think that now I am only 40, I am absolutely fine, I don't have anything, why should I go for a preventive checkup?
जब तक
Why
छाती
should
दुखती
I?
नहीं तब तक जाना है.
जब तक मेरे को कुछ होता नहीं तो मैं क्यों हॉस्पिटल जाऊँ, मैं क्यों पैसा खर्चा करूँ?
Yeah, so because of such, I think thinking, medicines have become more of reactive than preventive. Na?
Yes, of course.
So, what top 3 mistakes in your career you have seen 3 mistakes that people make on a daily basis?
Patients.
Yeah.
They ignore doctor's advice. One thing. They do not take proper prescribed medicines in proper doses. When they feel they are all right, they stop their treatment, and mainly people with chronic diseases, diabetes, hypertension. When they feel that they are all right, they don't have any symptoms, they stop antihypertensive treatment. Other thing is when affordability also comes a factor. Because of cost of medicines, many times what the patients do is they omit the costlier drugs and they only continue with the cheaper drugs. That also leads to mismanagement of hypertension, diabetes.
That also happens once you give antibiotics. 2 दिन खा के बंद कर देते हैं, and then antibiotic resistance.
Yes.
Nowadays is a big concern.
Antibiotic resistance is a big concern, big problem.
So in today's world, how relevant is the physician right now in the current scenario?
I think in spite of growing super specialities, so many super specialities coming up, almost every organ has a super specialist, but still physician's role still remains pivotal.
Yeah, you treat body as a whole, not one organ.
You treat body as a whole, because what the super specialist does, they have almost a uniocular lesion. You go to a super specialist complaining of chest pain, he will put you on a cath lab and do an angiogram, which may come out to be normal. But he won't think of any other causes of chest pain. Likewise, any other super specialist, they will only think about their systems.
Right.
But once you go to a physician, he takes care of the whole body. He takes care of the person as a patient. And then he can segregate whether it's a cardiology, neurology, endocrine, whatever.
But this is the difference I see. This is my experience. I don't know how true is that. Patients move from super specialist to super specialist in one specialty, but they will stay with one physician forever.
Yes.
Why does that happen?
Exactly. Because to be frank, physician has now moreover taken over the role of a family physician. Previously, we used to have a family physician who used to treat everything. So now what has happened is you don't have any family physicians anymore.
Yeah.
Most of the family physicians are either Ayurvedic, homeopathic, or some other therapy practice. But so MD physicians, they are moreover taken over the role of family physicians. So patients, they do come to you, they ask you for every advice, and if you tell them to go to this specialist, they do whatever they do, angioplasty, and they again come back to you.
We had Dr. Jay Deshmukh over here on the podcast, and he stressed upon this fact that the family physician is a dying breed.
Yes.
We need more of family physicians, because the role of a family physician is a go-between between the super specialist and
so
the family
exactly
itself.
that role is more to a great extent being played by physicians.
How has corporate practice changed medicine?
Corporate practice is here to stay. It is a new norm. The corporate hospitals are doing a huge business because there are a few reasons. One thing is they have everything under one roof. So patients do prefer everything under one roof. Second is availability of cashless insurance. This facility, those who have cashless insurance policies, they prefer to go to corporate hospitals. And you have all the specialties also in the corporate hospital, so cross-referral is also very easy. Everything is available under one roof, and hence there are a lot of corporate hospitals coming up. Lot of private corporate companies, they have tie-ups with corporate hospitals, so all their employees also go to corporate hospitals, and they are doing good. But only thing is the cost of therapy goes exponentially high if you go to corporate hospitals, because obviously they have their own overheads, they have their own protocols. So you have to bear with it.
I personally think after the arrival of corporates into healthcare, this became a business.
Yes, it is a
Otherwise,
business.
healthcare was never a business.
It is a
before.
business. It is a business, and you see all who manages corporate hospitals. Doctors don't manage corporate hospitals. They're all professional managers. All MBA graduates and everything is managed. The hospitals are managed by all professionals. So they run it like a business.
So, in comparison, what does a single practitioner practice offer better than a corporate setup?
Small nursing home, I would say. Small nursing homes which are situated in the residential locality, they are actually your neighborhood friends. You can go to those hospitals anytime, and what you get there is a personalized, proper treatment at any hour, and it's very personalized and cheap also as compared to as compared to corporate hospitals. So they are going to stay, but lot of restrictions, lot of regulatory compulsions, lot of government regulations, they are killing the small nursing homes, because it's impossible to comply with all those norms and regulations.
We'll come to that later. I want to talk to you about that extensively. But you are also one of those doctors when something goes wrong or doctor lands in some kind of legal trouble, you are one of the people they call. Why is that? So what expertise do you have in that area?
Actually, I have been working with IMA Maharashtra State, and me and Dr. Krishna Parate, we conceptualized a scheme for indemnity of doctors of IMA, and we were instrumental in starting that indemnity scheme of IMA. And during the process of running that scheme, I was running that scheme almost for 17 years, chairman of the scheme for 15 years, and before that secretary as 2 years. So during the course of running of that scheme, we came across many cases. We came across many legal cases, many different types of cases, different demands by the patients. And during the course of running this scheme, we interacted with a lot of lawyers. We also had a lot of interaction with there is a national indemnity scheme also of IMA. We had interaction with them also. And so I learned a lot of things, how to avoid litigation, or what to do in case of if you get a legal notice, if you get a case, what to do in this case. So that is the reason probably people approach me when they have a case or a legal notice or some legal problem, medical legal problem.
We are taught in conferences nowadays, consider every patient as a potential litigant.
Yes.
And you have to do your documentation
exactly
very thoroughly. And
Yes.
Unfortunately, most doctors are very weak at documentation.
Very bad.
So that is why nowadays I think electronic medical records are there.
Yes, yes.
But still, it's a lot of time feeding it. Still a lot of doctors पट से पेन पे लिख के छोड़ देता है. That happens.
Doctors are usually very bad at keeping records. Normally, the record keeping starts with taking a consent. So what we do, most of us do, we have a printed consent and we just take one signature and one signature of a witness. I think ठीक है, जब तक कुछ होता नहीं है तब तक चलता है. But if something happens, if somebody sues you, somebody goes in the court, I think that consent also would not be enough to save you, because taking a proper consent is a different idea actually.
Walk us through that.
Proper consent is one which you talk to the patient when in his own language or whatever language he understands, and explain to him what procedure you are going to do, explain to him the risks of the procedures, the complications which you might encounter during the procedure. Not necessarily you go tell him everything about all the possible complications, then otherwise the patient might run away कि भाई ये तो बहुत ही गड़बड़ है करके इधर नहीं चलता है. तो but whatever common complications which can occur, and what is the further treatment of those complications, that has to be properly explained, and his signature has to be taken in front of a witness from his family and one witness from the hospital.
What I do when I have a very complicated case, I usually take a video of both of us talking
Yes,
and
that
explaining
is
it to
that
family.
is also that is
And I keep it with
the
myself.
that is now that is the norm. You give a video consent so that everything is recorded in your hard disk.
Right. So what scares doctors most nowadays? Social media, police, और ये तोड़फोड़ जो होता है, what
I think तोड़फोड़.
तोड़फोड़?
Todford is very scary because you get a physical violence. You are physically abused also, as well as your property is destroyed. Social media and all this usually it is
Chicken memory
temporary.
wears
हाँ,
off,
people's memory is very short. तो कुछ दिन के बाद वो भूल जाते हैं लोग. Police also usually डॉक्टर लोगों को ज़्यादा तकलीफ देते नहीं है. Unless it's a very serious matter, तो police also can be tackled. But instant जो mob का जो तोड़फोड़ होता है, that is very scary.
Have you seen good doctors collapse despite doing a very ethical practice
Collapse means?
because of legal issues and everything? One bad case and the
Yes. I have heard. I have not seen anybody, but I have heard there are people who actually they had to run away from their practice position, or they have to stop their practice.
So let's talk about medico-legal cases. When do the medico cases actually begin for a doctor?
Actually, what we were talking just now, that is the first reaction, mob violence or whatever, todfod, that is the first reaction. But if that doesn't happen, what happens is कि people, if a patient dies in your hospital, usually these occur, there are few reasons. A patient dies, most commonly dispute occurs because of the bill.
Yes.
So patient dies and his relatives think that the bill बहुत ज़्यादा है, ये है, वो है, तो ठीक है, वो तो तब तक then you give them some concession and everything, they go away. After some time, there are some people who instigate them. कि बॉस ये ऐसा नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ, ये होना चाहिए था, वो होना चाहिए था. Then somebody comes up with the idea कि let us sue the doctor. So then the first step is most of them they send you a legal notice. And legal notice को most of the time if you reply them properly, at least we have seen in our PPS scheme कि almost 80% of the patients they are satisfied with the legal notice and reply to the legal notice and they don't go to the court later on. And the next stage is court. So court is commonly they go to a consumer forum. There are district forum, state forum, national forum. And if not satisfied, then they can appeal to the higher forum. And but if it's a criminal case, suppose criminal case means what happens is we had a case in which a gauze mop was left in a patient with cesarean section. That's a criminal negligence. So that was a criminal case, and we are still fighting that case in the court. So there are different courts where people go: consumer court, civil courts, and criminal courts.
So, but in this particular case, when a gauze was left, what would be the possible outcome of the doctor? Or till the outcome doesn't come, is his license suspended?
Doctor is definitely negligent in this case because he has left a mop. So many of such cases, we do advise them to do a out-of-court settlement. Because we know that we are going to lose in the court, whatever court we may go. So out-of-court settlement is encouraged. But otherwise, then what happens is he might be heavily fined or might have to face a short jail sentence.
Acha, that too also happens.
Yes.
And cancel license हुआ
Yes. License cancellation, there are different stages. So in this case, maybe cancellation for 3 years or 5 years may be there.
What is the biggest myths that a lot of doctors had about consumer courts?
Myth.
What do they don't know what happens in a consumer court for a doctor?
Actually, doctors take consumer courts very lightly. They think they don't have any powers, but they do have a lot of powers. And nowadays, even the limit of the district forum has been raised very substantially. And the other thing which has changed in the consumer law is that previously the case had to be filed at the place of the treatment.
Right.
But now it can be filed anywhere. If the patient has come from Rewa, he goes to Rewa and files a case in Rewa against you. I think that becomes a very troublesome.
We have to go to
yes,
Riva.
we have to go to Riva, or we have to send a lawyer to Riva.
But can't we get it shifted from Riva
No,
to
no, no, no. You have to send your lawyer.
Difficult. Tell us about this PPS scheme, no, sir.
PPS scheme, all insurance companies, they have their indemnity schemes, if you are aware. So what we thought is, why go to insurance companies? Why not we ourselves run a PPS scheme? So we formed that PPS scheme in 2008, and what we did is our premium is very, very less than the other insurance companies. And the biggest advantage is we have a huge pool of experts. So whenever we need an expert opinion, we can take an expert opinion from any of our colleagues. And in the national IMA, we have a huge pool of medical legal cases.
Okay.
So we can always take their help and take out the medical legal cases from them for our reference. And during my tenure, we have almost tackled about 140 cases, out of which one of the case we are still fighting in National Consumer Redressal Forum, and few of them in state forum, and rest of the district forums. But in those 17 years, we have given compensation to only one case. Rest of the cases we either have won or settled down.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what is the difference between an indemnity and a PPS scheme? Is there any difference?
No. It is same.
It's the same.
It is the same. What insurance companies they call indemnity scheme, we call a PPS because it is by the IMA, for the IMA members, professional protection.
Right. And at what time should a doctor contact PPS in case of a legal trouble? Notice आया contact करो.
नहीं, I think even before that, if you have had an incident in your hospital and you are expecting कि ऐसा कुछ आ सकता है, तो you should contact PPS so that they can advise you to
How to proceed further.
How to proceed or how to keep your records.
Okay.
So they can advise you कि ऐसा record बनाओ, so that you will not find any problem later.
Do junior doctors need more PPS or seniors? Because first timers, I think a lot of time
everybody needs, but maybe juniors are little more careless sometimes, or more overconfident, so they need more than seniors.
And juniors बहुत बार लगता है यार, I'm newly doing practice, अभी ये मैं बाद में देखता हूँ, भी होता है, right?
And they don't know the consequences also. कुछ नहीं होता ना, देख लेंगे वगैरह, ऐसा रहता है.
Hot blood, young blood. Now, coming to a very point dear to yours, the dying nursing homes versus the corporates that we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
I personally think there is something wrong with the Nursing Home Act. And it is 1991, I think. It hasn't been, there hasn't been any changes after that.
It is 1950.
My God.
Bombay Nursing Home Act is 1950. Then it was revamped in 2005. And that is still on.
But some rules I find really absurd. Why should you have NABH level protocols at a nursing home level? I don't think you should have.
No, you don't need NABH level protocols. It was only because of the insistence of insurance companies. Because if you have a NABH accreditation, insurance companies give you empanelment for cashless services, as well as they give you good rates. If you don't have NABH accreditation, then they give you very bad rates. I mean, which are not
feasible
acceptable.
For
yes.
But why do we need it? मतलब पहले भी तो infections control होते थे, पहले भी.
नहीं, that is good if you can do it, but that is only for standardization of the procedures.
But that increases the cost of.
It does increase the cost, definitely.
Your overheads increase. And
yes.
You will have to
overhead increases, your documentation increases.
And the cost will have to be borne eventually by the patient.
By the patients, obviously.
So, do you think the nursing homes should make a comeback?
Yes, the nursing homes should make a comeback, which is a very difficult proposition. But at least those which are there, they should not be. They should exist further also. We should. Actually, we at IMA are fighting for that. We want that up to 50 beds. We should not have a registration procedure with the local authorities. So that would get rid of all many of the fallacies about the Bombay Nursing Home Act.
Why don't we still have a daycare thing? Thing. Like my ophthalmology, ENT, we are usually overnight patient नहीं रहता
हाँ, हाँ.
है. तो we should have something वहाँ पे कि बाबा
Yeah, that
daycare
is
का
that is
चाहिए
coming.
होगा.
That is coming. You get lot of concessions in if you have a
Daycare में you don't need the NABH level thing.
No.
You don't need that fire regulation वगैरह वो सब.
No,
नहीं
no.
चाहिए.
You don't need fire regulations.
So ये आ रहा है. मैं जब से I've been into the practice, it's almost 10 years now. आ ही रहा है तब से. I don't know what is happening.
The medical practice, either health is not a great priority for the government, so they don't bother about it.
I mean, there was a point of time for this ophthalmology body has been lobbying for a very long time for a daycare changes
Yeah,
in this.
ophthalmology, ENT.
Yeah. So when my father was the president of the Ophthalmic Society, he had went and met the now Chief Minister, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, because his father-in-law is an ophthalmologist. So हाँ करूँ बहू बने and
नहीं they don't, that is not their priority to do anything. They don't say no to anything.
Yes, Bagu is a good answer. How has you have a very pivotal role in IMA? I mean, my mother always says you and a few other doctors are like Bhishma Pitama's or of
No, it's not like that. Actually, we have a very good group in IMA, and we have a lot of experience. Our colleagues and lot of experience. We have good contacts with other IMA members all over the state as well as the national IMA. So we usually work as a advisory body. We don't आम्ही काही डे टू डे वर्किंगमध्ये काही त्याच्यामध्ये हे होत नाही. वी जस्ट ओव्हरसी ओव्हरऑल ॲडवायझरी बॉडी लाईक say if there are state elections or national elections, whom to support or things like that. Just policy making this. But rest of the IMA is run by all the office bearers something.
How has IMA changed itself over the years? Is it still the same body when you joined, or it's very different nowadays?
No, it is definitely very different. When we joined IMA, it was just an association of few doctors. IMA, the strength of IMA Nagpur was hardly 600 or 500 that time.
Which year was this?
That is in 1990.
Okay.
Now it is almost 4,500. What has changed now is that IMA has become much powerful, much vocal. They have good contacts with the government, and government also has taken a note of it, and government does invite them for consultation before taking any policy decisions. How much they listen to us, that is a different thing, but they do invite and have talks with us.
I have very early memories of IMA, that singing competition used to happen in that.
That still happens.
अभी तो नहीं जाते. Why are young doctors so disconnected from IMA? What do you think?
There are 2-3 things. A lot of IMA membership is quite expensive. That is one thing, but I think that should not be a problem with doctors. And there is not proper communication नहीं है कि what are the advantages of IMA, why you should become a member of IMA, and many of them are very influential new doctors. If they have any problem, they can manage it themselves. They don't need IMA. So that is one of the reasons, and main thing is they don't know the importance. And like lawyers, you have if you want to practice law, you need to become member of a bar council,
obviously.
So I think there should be something like that in medical practice. If you want to practice medicine, you need to become member of IMA. That we have been trying to do that, but I think it's a very difficult thing.
And I think one of the reasons would be because of specialization. सबने अपना specialty.
That is true. IMA कैसा है? IMA is basically for your welfare.
Yeah.
Rest of the associations are your academic associations, right. All specialty associations and API or CSI, whatever. So people are more interested in academics. They are, unless somebody gets a problem, somebody faces a problem, they don't come to IMA. And because of that, we also do not propagate our our whatever we have done. So people don't come to know कि what IMA is useful. तो there is a very simple question everybody asks, IMA काय के लिए है, IMA क्या करता है हमारे लिए, ये question everybody asks. So IMA has done a lot of things and which are not publicized. So people do not know कि IMA का क्या importance है. If they come to know, I think they will definitely come.
But if a lot of doctors are not joining IMA, where is IMA getting funds from? Voluntary donations?
No, voluntary donations.
Or it has a good pool for itself?
No, it doesn't have a very good pool of funds. But IMA has a big property here in Nagpur. Nagpur problem nahi hai. That property is rented out for different associations and functions. But that has also reduced now, because of some administrative or local authority problems. Our auditorium is not rented much. Funds are mainly from membership funds and the interest which is generated from the deposits. And other programs which they take, for which they take payments, say the annual conference and other things. So that surplus amount is always there that can be utilized for other activities.
Why do you think doctors are not very, they don't stand together? Strike हुआ है, सब अपना अपना ओपीडी चल रहे हैं, only the few that matter will be there.
Yes.
Then if something matters to a lot of them, majority will have a strike, पर एक आधा बोलेगा नहीं आज सब बंद है मैं चालू करता हूँ. Why does that happen?
Because doctors are very intelligent.
But कभी तो भी you should stand for the cause.
I know what happens is कि that's what I said. मेरे को तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा है, मैं क्यों जाऊँ, ऐसा एटीट्यूड रहता है. जब तक खुद पे नहीं आता है तब तक वो जाता नहीं है. That is the problem. When the IMA gives a call for strike, people will close their OPDs for 1 or 2 hours and maybe या वो भी पीछे के दरवाजे से जाके वो चालू हो जाता है, because they don't realize the importance of the matter which is being treated by the IMA. Unless they get themselves involved, तो उसके ऊपर आएगा तो वो बोलेगा कि चलो स्ट्राइक करो ना, मेरे को इतना मारा है इन्होंने, स्ट्राइक करो. But for somebody else, he will not be there.
Absolutely not. I mean, I remember this incident. One of my friends was like, अभी बीच में a lot of incident were happening. So like महीने में मैं 5 दिन बंद करूँगा तो मैं पैसे कैसे कमाऊँगा भाई? That was a very realistic thing. That is true. For, and especially for young doctors, those who have invested so much of amount in their practice. Like भाई मैं 5 दिन बंद करते ये मैं नहीं भर पाऊँगा. For all those heavy machineries, how do I do that?
Yes.
So that is another concern.
That is true.
So what is the advice for the next generation of doctors who are coming in nowadays?
Advice is practice honestly, practice ethically, and be good to the patients, good communication, tell them everything, and communication is the key actually. Most of the incidents they do occur because of bad communication or lack of communication. So communicate with the patients, keep your records absolutely immaculate, and treat ethically.
For the first 5 years, what should every doctor do? I think networking तो definitely करना चाहिए.
Networking करना चाहिए. You should have patience, because right from the day one you are not going to start earning. So you have to do network. You have to do wherever possible. You can go and do some free work. You can go and do some social activities, and maybe get your knowledge also regularly updated by attending conferences. And if you are good at giving lectures, best mode of networking is go meet people, as well as if possible give lectures at other places, small tahsil places or small places, so that your networking increases and you get increased inflow of patients.
Awareness campaigns,
Yes.
basically.
People should be aware कि ये नाम का आदमी कोई आया है प्रैक्टिस में, अदरवाइज खाली बैठे बैठे किसी को मालूम नहीं होगा ना कि कौन है.
नहीं आजकल रील बना रहे हैं ना सब डॉक्टर, दे डांसिंग. One of my friends is a pediatrician. He was very frustrated. He's like, भाई मैं pediatrics एम से हूँ, अब मेरे को पेशेंट बुलाने के लिए नाचना पड़ रहा है कैमरा के सामने. ये दिन आ गए.
बराबर है. But that's a good way of networking.
Right.
But probably it won't reach common
Obviously.
people.
Obviously. About this, there was a recent article from Apollo Hospitals, I guess, कि डॉक्टर्स को 15 रुपए का प्रिस्क्रिप्शन कॉस्ट मिलेगा इफ दे राइट ई प्रिस्क्रिप्शन फ्रॉम अपोलो फार्मेसी. MBBS डॉक्टर्स विल गेट 15 रुपीज पर कंसल्टेशन एंड ये लिखना है. एंड पर आवरली रेट्स अगर किया तो इट वुड बी 200 रुपीज एन आवर. दिस वॉज द वैल्यू ऑफ एन MBBS ग्रेजुएट डॉक्टर. उसमें भी इफ यू डोंट लाइक दिस करेक्टली, इफ यू डोंट लाइक दिस करेक्टली, तो ये माइनस करते करते इट वुड कम्स डाउन टू 112 रुपीज ऐसा कुछ तो भी पर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन. सो इफ द वैल्यू ऑफ एन MBBS पास इज 100 rupees an hour, it's a very dire situation for people to become doctors. I mean,
yes.
South में तो a lot of doctors are even driving Rapido, Ola, Uber, things are so bad nowadays.
No, but I mean, rush in the medical colleges has come down definitely.
Yes.
So many postgraduate seats are remaining vacant, and people are starting. And most of the children of doctors, they also are not going for medicine.
They are also thinking, भाई ये मेरे को ये नहीं करना है करके. I know. I तो tell everybody who comes to my OPD, भैया डॉक्टर नहीं बनना. बहुत बन गए. There is a lot of saturation. Yes. मत ही आओ. Also, why do you think so many hospitals are coming up nowadays? इतना काम ही नहीं है.
I also wonder why so many hospitals are coming up, especially in Nagpur.
Exactly.
Because every year or every 2 years you get a big hospital, 100-bed hospital, 150-bed hospital. But what the best thing about Nagpur is Nagpur thrives heavily on patients from Madhya Pradesh. So that supply continues, but
it is coming down because there is a GMC in Chinwada right now.
Yes, it is coming down, and in days to come it is going to still come down.
It will stop eventually.
But I don't know what will happen, because previously even Chhattisgarh used to do in Nagpur, but good facilities coming up in Raipur, Dongargarh and Bhilai, so people have stopped coming from Chhattisgarh. So I don't know how people sustain, and that actually gives rise to all the things which we hear about doctors, ki malpractices.
I sincerely think ki times ahead for people like me, who don't want to resort to malpractices, you should start building parallel streams of income in some or the other form.
Obviously, yes.
It is very important.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know what the future holds.
Yes. In future, doctors are a necessity. There are going to be doctors, there are going to be hospitals, but I think some things should change. And now so many doctors coming up, so many medical colleges, every district hospital has been converted into a medical college.
Exactly.
So in those colleges, the problem is of medical teachers.
Exactly.
Where are you going to get the teachers from? So if you don't have good teachers, if you don't have good facilities, what sort of doctors are going to come out from those colleges?
Very true.
And then what practice they will do?
वो तो if that calculation you keep, an MBBS seat nowadays goes for 25 lakhs per year.
Yes.
In a paid institute.
Yes.
So your MBBS is around 1.5 CR.
Yes.
And MBBS has no value. Then you will do post-graduation. That would be another 3-4 crores.
Yes.
So eventually, to become a full-fledged doctor, you need 6 to 7 crores of rupees.
Minimum 5 crores.
उसके बाद आप मार्केट में इफ़ यू स्टार्ट अ प्रैक्टिस, जगह खरीदो, इंस्ट्रूमेंट खरीदो, करो, सब मोटा मोटा 10 CR ऑफ पैसा गया. एंड द मार्केट विल आस्क यू, तू तो नया डॉक्टर है, आई डोंट नो यू. एंड so I tell my parents, if you are willing to spend that kind of money, उससे क्या बिजनेस खड़ा कर दो बच्चे को. There is absolutely,
बिल्कुल.
You are never going to get that money back.
And then to recover that money, he has to do
what kind of practice that will do?
Yes, he has to do malpractice.
He will be forced into it.
Yes, so he has to somehow or the other he has to take out that money.
Very difficult. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Would you like to add something before you go?
No, I already told कि practice ठीक करो, practice अच्छी करो, communication अच्छा करो, और records अच्छे रखो, और ethical practice करो.
Right. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.